Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the weekly podcast. That is Mind Your Business. So, in this week, and I know it's Wednesday, happy hump day, everybody. But this week, we're going to be talking about time management, right? Time management is it's a huge topic, I would say, to everybody. Um, Whether you're a mom, stay-at-home mom, whether you're a um, healthcare worker, whether you're a child, not a child, an adult. I mean, time management is just huge for everybody, right? Um, the main reasons why I wanted to talk about time management is because we always seem like we never have enough time in the day, right? Or we use it as an excuse not to do anything. So we can always say, oh my gosh, I just didn't have enough time in the day. Well, we know it's all false, right? Because if we looked at the time that we had and we really calculated it out, we would see that we did have time, right? So what I usually do is I do something called uh, making a schedule. That was funny. But I mean, yeah, I mean, people think it's like this huge thing, but it's not. Just create a schedule. Um, like 24 hours of the day. What are you doing? And you'd see if you create a schedule that you can really find a lot of time that you just kind of waste doing nothing, right? We say scrolling, but sometimes scrolling is good for creativity. So I never want to say don't do scrolling because when I scroll, I get some info, I get creativity, it sparks a lot of things. So I don't want to say not scrolling, but at the end of the day, when you're indulging in it a little bit too much, it can become a little wasteful with your time, right? So, how I do my schedule is, and I've tried to do it on my phone, but a lot of times the phone doesn't really work. So what I've done, and Siri is brilliant. I mean, she'll create a schedule for you in a minute. But what I've found is like if I write it down in a planner like this for the year, and my cousin was the one that told me about this, especially she said, "You're gonna be a businesswoman. You need to get a calendar." And I just thought it was like nonsense. But the busier I got and the more things that I do, this seems to be my friend. Okay. So I really like the calendars that kind of do this particular calendar does not only the days in the blocks that you can write in, you can also like do a mission on it. And besides the mission board, you have dates that you can write notes. So it's little things that you can tell yourself and then your weekly focuses and stuff like that, right? And then at the end, you can write yourself just plain old notes and rambling. Like you can just get it all out. Like, what did I do? What I didn't do? Um, I used to do this, and if you're a mom, we do this in our brains, right? We don't really necessarily write it down. We automatically do it in our brains and we say, okay, this kid has to go here, I have to do that, I have to do that, okay, I have to pick up the dry cleaning, I have to do that. So it's like all these things, and we kind of do it in our brain. But when you write it down, it just keeps it more organized. And then you actually find time for yourself. And that's what I didn't do for a long time. I couldn't find the time to myself. And then it would just get so overwhelming and everything would just seem so huge when it would be really small. And I would be so stressed out because I just didn't have time to just rest. And that's never good, right? It's never good for your health. It's not good for relationships with other people. It can make you cranky for no reason because you didn't get enough sleep. And just meditating. and being with yourself is really, really is something that's a art in itself, right? So you do need time to develop that and just being able to just be still for a minute. It's something calming in that. So what I did with my kids, because we would have to get up so early, because I would have to take them to school, and then I would have to go to school, because I was trying to get my bachelor's in accounting then, and then I would have to get back home and do the homework and do all of the good stuff, and then cook dinner. So, what I found was, with my daughter and my kids, I would want them to have at least 30 minutes to an hour of just them just being them before they go to bed. And that would give them time for their brains to kind of calm down, right? And just like get in a relaxing mode so they can get in the bed and get some rest. And this is usually after dinner. Sometimes they eat dinner before they do homework, and then they get to play, right? So it's like get the work done. Um, do your work all, do what you're supposed to do up front. That's what I always tell them. Do what you're supposed to do up front, and then you could play later, right? So as an adult, we have to learn how to do what we need to do up front, and then we can play later. Sometimes that's not all the time what we want to do, but and we're worse at it than kids because we get to tell them what to do, but we don't ever follow the rules. And that's not good. So we got to change that because we are the examples of our children. So what I would do is we would get up in the morning, they would I would ask them what they had planned for the day in school, and we would have that conversation on the way to school. Then they would usually, if they had any homework or any questions that they had to ask me, we would do that in the morning. We would talk a little bit about politics, a little bit about religion, and that would always be playing in a car. So I would try to get them well rounded. And then after that, they would go off to school. And then in the evenings, they would get to debrief with me. So they would get to talk about the teachers, what the teacher was like, how did they feel about the teacher, and just raw emotions, no curse words, but they would really debrief the day. And that was their time. If I was on the phone, I would come off of the phone and I would give them their time because that was their time to debrief, and they would debrief. And then after they debrief, if they had to do any homework in the car before we got home, they would try to get it done because they know once they get in the house. And then most of the time, my kids kind of got their work done at school because they know, hey, when we get home, it's time to eat dinner, debrief some more, talk about other things that they want to talk about, spend time together. Then after that, what we would do is they would take their showers and do any extra homework that they had for the next day. And then it would be playtime. It would be time for them to just like do their own thing, whether that's being creative and drawing. My daughter loves to draw. Whether that's playing a video game, if they're not on punishment. And then, it would be a cutoff point. And at 10 o'clock for some, 9:30 for some, because my kids are 10 years apart, you would have to turn your electronics in. And that way it was no distractions. So when I left my son with his electronics, it was up until 15. So at 15, now I know, hey, anybody texting after that point, you're going to suffer the consequences if you can't get up in the morning. But electronics and all of that stuff was a no-no. Okay. So all of that throughout that, I pretty much planned their day. And my kids were, I mean, always on honor roll, always on the principal list, always, I've never had a bad grade, but one time with my son, and then he didn't get Christmas presents. But that's another that's another topic that we'll talk about another time. But we need to, if we can plan our kids' days out like that, I think we can do it for us. And if we can do that for us, I think we'll really find the gaps and the holes in our days on things that we can really get done. Am I perfect at it? No, no. I'm not. I'm working on it, right? But I'm here to say that while I'm working on it, it works for me. And I just wanted to tell you, get a planner. Don't have to get, particularly get this brand, but get a planner. Start with something small, non-threatening, and just take the time on out on a Sunday and just write out the first week. That's it. Just write the first week out. What am I going to do this week? What do I have planned? What is going on? What do I want to get done? And just write it down throughout the week. And if you don't get it done in that week, then on that next Sunday, you look at the calendar and you're like, okay, well, Monday I was supposed to get this done. I didn't. This Tuesday I was supposed to get that done. I did. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like a gradual, you don't want to go cold turkey because then you'll get overwhelmed and you won't do it at all. So what you want to do is you just want to go line by line, list by list, week by week, day by day, and just improve every day on time management. And I would love to hear the feedback in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like this new podcast. I'm trying something out. I think it's really awesome, and I think people will grow from it. It's just like life experiences that I've went through, and I want to share. So I just want to say bye for now. Um, I hope that this was helpful and valuable. And see you next time on the weekly podcast. I hope it's not a month before I come back and post, but it won't be. See you next week. Bye.